From the latest on Caribbean cruises to kosher safaris, pilgrimages to Jewish Eastern Europe, and award-winning wines and international cuisine in sun-drenched Tel Aviv. Sit back and enjoy the trip with the travel edition of the Jerusalem Post podcast. The last time we talked to you from China, we were hurtling along not too far away from the East China Sea up the right-hand side of the country, passing mountains, wind turbines, megalopolises, huge cities, and we're almost in our destination, which is going to be the host city for this podcast.
We are going to the capital city, Beijing. Ooh, what do you know about Beijing?
Some of it will become clear in my quiz question a little bit later on, but it's the capital city. It's one of the oldest cities in the world, of the largest cities. It's the largest capital city in the world, with a population in excess of 20 million. And it's a big mix of old and new, but here, as opposed to the two other cities we visited, the brand new Shenzhen, the couple of 100 years old Shanghai, here we're talking about decades, centuries, millennia of history.
While we're recording this, I've just missed the chance to buy a model train. The lady who has been serving us tea, coffee, water, etc. is now walking by with model bullet trains.
Would you buy one?
No.
What else do we want to say about Beijing? What about you? What are you looking forward to?
I'm looking forward, hopefully, to going to see I think it's one of the seven wonders of the world, and one that I've always wanted to go and see, but we'll reveal that during the podcast. But I think here, even though it's another one of the big cities of the world, there is that real mix of old, and we're going to see some of that. The brand new as well, I'm sure we'll be taken to see something technological and wonderful. And again, we'll get a chance to talk about life, relationships with Israel, how China and Israel get along as we meet people along the way.
I want to see the food markets.
Yes, I would like to see dinner as well. I'm getting quite hungry on this train.
Okay, without further ado, because we are heading closer and closer to Beijing, even though we're moving at more than 200 miles an hour, hopefully they're going to slow down before we get to the station. So, time for a quiz question, and it's my turn on this occasion. The question is, Beijing, as I just said, is an old city, dates back 3,000 years. But when did Beijing become the capital of the People's Republic of China?
The answer at the end of the pod.
Discover the future with Inside Israeli Innovation. I'm Eve Young from the Jerusalem Post, bringing you exclusive insights from Israel's top innovators. Each week, we dive into the latest trends in tech, business, and beyond with interviews from the brightest minds in the industry. Whether it's cutting-edge startups or revolutionary tech breakthroughs, Inside Israeli Innovation is your front row seat to the startup nation. Subscribe now on your favorite podcast platform and stay ahead of the curve. Inside Israeli Innovation, where innovation meets inspiration.
Good morning and welcome to the Great Wall of China.
Yes, one of my favourite restaurants.
Oh, goodness. You can take the mark out of Mark, but you can't take the mark out of Mark.
We're also going to the Imperial Garden, which I really like as a restaurant. They do much better tofu.
We are at one of the great wonders of the world, and I'm just looking up to my right. Mark, are you ready for a climb?
I'm looking for the lift. Do you know where the lift is?
This is the first time that Mark has actually seen what this means to climb the Great Wall of China. I said to him, it's just a few steps.
If I'd have known it was going to be like this, I may not have gone jogging yesterday. That is quite a steep-looking climb. I don't know if it's the only part that people climb, but I'm just gulping a bit.
Let me take you back more than 2,000 years, probably about 2,200 years, when various warring factions would try to invade this part of China. We're about, an hour northwest of Beijing. And so various tribes at that point decided to build their own walls. As China became a more and more united country, the decision was made to connect some of these walls together. And as China developed, the various dynasty leaders thought that they would connect all of the bits. And in fact, one of the emperors, probably about 500-600 years ago, sent 320,000 people to connect the various parts, meaning that the wall estimates suggest ran 20,000 kilometres, which is probably about 14,000 miles. And today we've got about 8,000 kilometres or 5,000 miles of the wall that are visible to visitors.
As David said, this is one of the wonders of the world, not the ancient wonders of the world. The only one of those still standing is the Great Pyramid.
And Elton John, because he's still standing. Yeah.
And he's ancient. In a recent poll of people where they like to go and what they like to do, I think the Great Wall came top. It's known to be visible from space.
Apparently that's nonsense.
It's known, not by anybody who's done it. I've seen a picture. And there's definitely
with the bloody Hubble telescope that's capable of seeing the farthest reaches of the galaxy, you can see it. It was always said you could see it from the moon. Apparently it's nonsense.
I don't think you can see it from McDonald's in space, but there is a McDonald's here at the Great Wall of China.
Oh, we finished where we started. Oh my gosh. I have no idea how soldiers would have done this on a daily basis patrolling. Okay, they're fit and I'm not, they were young and I'm old, but still, to give you an idea how high I've climbed. It's a fairly hazy day, it's very hot. Beijing is an hour's drive away, the downtown area, and I can see the skyscrapers from where I'm standing. That's how high up we are. The ingenuity, the technical ability to build here is quite superb. The views are stunning. On three sides, mountains, and on one side, a valley pass in the direction of Beijing. Everything that I can see apart from what the humans have done here, which is the fortresses, the temples and the wall itself, everything else is lush green. You would be forgiven for thinking you're somewhere in the tropics, could be a Caribbean island, could be the starts of the Amazon, but mountainous, verdant, white rock showing through white and brown striations. Truly stunning. And to think that vast parts of this wall were created a couple of 1,000 years ago, and even the parts where we are now, under the emperors of the Ming and Qing dynasties, that they were able to construct something like this, so all-embracing, defensive, yet thinking to allow for the safe passage of people and goods, was a tremendous achievement. Mark, what the heck is that noise?
I think that's to scare away the tourists.
Isn't it like from that musical, Cicada, Cicada?
That's Chicago, David.
I am being mansplained to now by a guy who alleges he's my friend.
Friendship.
Yes.
Let me explain that to you, David.
Friendship that I left behind, and you said, no, I can't be bothered climbing up to see those wondrous views.
I climbed all the way to Tower 7, I'll have you know.
It's a long way to Tower 8.
You only went to Tower 8. It's only a little bit further.
I am now going to do what Mark probably intended doing, which is to defend his honour. Mark, a year ago, as regular listeners know, was very, very sick. Even before he had a boo-boo in the museum in Baku. He was hospitalised because of one of our overseas trips, and so he has to be careful about his breathing, boo-boo.
No, I'm just fat, and it's a long way up.
Now, I have to say, there was a sign before I started climbing that said, if you have heart disease, or was it mental illness?
Brain illness.
Oh, brain illness. Don't do this. I think what they're trying to say is you have to be mad to climb up to Fortress number 8.
Not as bad as the Planning Exhibition Museum that we went to yesterday.
Because?
They didn't let in the dishevelled.
Oh, yes. Or alcoholics.
Or people with a mental illness.
Yes. A couple of tips, and we'll give you a list of tips in the various pods. But let's just for a minute, now we're back together, talk about toilets in China, because it's something we haven't addressed yet. And for a visitor, it's probably quite important.
You're at the Great Wall, and the first thing that comes to mind is the toilet.
No, I finished that. Now, I went to one of the bathrooms afterwards just to wash my hands. Here's a hot tip. If you are climbing along the Great Wall, bring with you wet wipes. Because if you hold on to the railing, which you probably will want to, the steps are different size, so you need it for your balance. You will come away with lots of rust or some sort of orange-brown material on your hands. Don't brush against it in your clothes, because you're going to also find your clothes turn a nasty orange colour.
You're also a little bit nearer to the sun, so make sure you have some form of shade from the sun, hats, umbrellas, factor 50, make sure you've got all of that.
So back to the toilets. There are two types of bathroom here. I can only speak on the part of the men's side, but on the men's side at least you have your regular urinals, but then if you are headed in the direction of number twos, there is either the traditional Western toilet, but in many cases there are places where there is only the squatting toilet. And another important piece of advice on that front, bring with you toilet paper, because it's not necessarily ever present.
I made it to number 7.
Have you listened to the Jerusalem Post podcast travel edition yet? Hi there, I'm David Harris, and together with co-host Mark Gordon, we bring you the very best of the world of travel.
We've had our safety instructions and we're in a basket.
Either the cars are shrinking or we're going higher.
Now sat on a high chair.
You're listening to the last will and testament of Mark Simon Gordon.
We're in the independent micronation of Ujupis.
If I wasn't married, I'd be chasing away your indigenous 78-year-old and taking you for myself.
The drink afterwards, just to calm my nerves, will be number 1, but this is definitely up there.
The Jerusalem Post podcast travel edition brings you the joys of travel and tourism. So why not subscribe today wherever you get your podcasts?
Duck, David.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy.
Clearly you're a duck less than 65 days old.
I've not been stuffed, I've not been force-fed, I've not been separated from my skin yet.
Yes.
It's very difficult really to explain. We were on a bus coming back from the Great Wall, and on the way back our wonderful, wonderful guide, Ivy is her English name, and she's superb, and she began to give us the graphic explanation of
how to make Beijing duck or Peking duck.
Her description was so wonderful, so accurate, so perfect that some people were licking their lips and salivating, and certain others said, "Can we become vegetarians?"
Yeah, the method is kind of similar to foie gras. For those that know, the duck is a certain weight and a certain age when they kill it, but in its last 20 days they will inject it with water, they will force feed it just to make the skin thicker, to put more fat there, so that when they cook the duck it's crispier.
And it weighs 2.5 kilos or 6 pounds or so at the time that it is ripe for tasting.
David and I never partook in the duck. We got to smell the duck.
If it looks like a duck, if it smells like a duck, and if it slices like a duck.
And it's in Peking.
It's Peking duck.
It's Peking duck. With your chopsticks, you pick up a pancake, you kind of form it into a lotus shape, you add some vegetables like spring onion,
cucumber.
You then get your duck, you dip it in the plum sauce. The stronger you want your sauce, the longer you leave it in. It's quite a thick sauce, so it coats it. You then pick it up, put it in your sheet, then you fold the sheet 3 ways to stop the sauce falling out the bottom, and there you go.
So basically it's a little tortilla, but much softer.
Yes, and smaller, generally. I would say it's very nice, but I didn't have any. But I can tell you the rice was lovely.
However, one of the people we're travelling with said it's probably the tastiest thing she's ever eaten.
And another said the Kung Po chicken was also good.
There you go.
What are we doing now?
We'll find out in a minute.
I think we're meeting a friend of ours, Mr. Shaw. Mr. Richard Shaw.
Oh, good Lord. Oh, struth. We'll tell you what Mark's talking about in a minute. Beijing Fact File. Beijing has two main international airports, Capital and the newer Daqing, with the world's largest single terminal building. Flights from the US arrive at Capital Airport with Air China from New York, San Francisco and Los Angeles. United Airlines flies from San Francisco. Air China also flies direct from London, Melbourne, Dubai, Frankfurt, Munich, Johannesburg, Vancouver and many other major cities. You can fly to Beijing direct with Air France, Emirates, Etihad, KLM and Lufthansa. The route from Tel Aviv with Hainan Airlines is currently on hold, but you can connect in Shenzhen. From Daqing Airport, you can take the new airport subway line from the airport station to Chowkou Station, south of the city centre. The journey takes around 20 minutes and costs $5. You can also take the train to Beijing West Railway Station. The journey is also 20 minutes and costs $4. A taxi will take around 80 minutes and cost $30. From Capital Airport, you can take the Airport Express line from the airport station to Dongji-Men Station in the city centre. The journey takes around 35 minutes and costs around $4. There are multiple airport bus lines available to surrounding towns and suburbs. We stayed at the Beijing New World Hotel. Other recommended hotels in the city include the Puchuan Hotel and Spa, the Peninsula, Hyatt Regency Wanjing, Mandarin Oriental Wanfujing, Bulgari, Rosewood and the Eclat. $1 will buy you 7.2 yuan. Beijing's climate is continental monsoon, with hot, humid summers and brief but cold, dry winters. Spring and autumn are the best time to be in Beijing, particularly in the months of April, May, September and October. Beijing's most famous dish is Peking Duck, which is served with pancakes and plum sauce. Other classic dishes include zhajiang mian, noodles with soybean paste, hot pots, which means cooking your own food in boiling soup, donkey burgers, and jianbing, which are crepes with various fillings. Riding along in a bumpety truck, in a bumpety truck.
I found out who Richard Shaw is, and he's not who I thought he was. He's a rickety old rickshaw.
Poor old rickshaw driver, who is very licensed according to 3 certificates above us, although one of them might be a set of instructions.
And he's licensed to insult me because I'm slightly larger than the average customer. Apparently, I'm very interesting. Lots of people took pictures of me while shouting the word Buddah, which I think I may refer to my Buddha belly.
Do you remember that scene in Airplane? Larry's getting larger.
Lyon.
You're such a geek.
Town in France, Lyon.
Do you think we should say hello to some people? Hello! Hello! People wave. The people either wave or completely avoid eye contact.
Strangely, they were happy to say hello with a camera. Put a microphone there, they're very worried. Hello! Nothing.
Nothing. So let's describe a little bit of the things that we can see. On the left-hand side, there are people selling what look like Lucky Charms.
A nice park and, a river to our right.
A lake. It's a boating lake.
A boating lake. To our left, lots of limousines. We should have got in one of those rather than one of these. This man would still be, not worrying about his hernia.
Anyway, we are headed to where?
I think we're in something called the Hutongs, which are a series of narrow lanes and houses that are built in blocks of 4 houses to try and get a feel of old Beijing and what life was like here. Ah,
yes.
Air conditioning.
It's been quite the day.
After the heat of the Hutongs, we're in the air conditioning of the acrobats.
We're about to see a traditional acrobatic performance. Any thoughts on what it's likely to be?
Chinese.
And acrobatic?
Yes. And they might perform.
Okay, this is going to be a very, very short introduction, really, isn't it?
Mark is still short-circuited from the heat and not producing enough words. I'm hoping to see lots of people flying all over the place.
Given that this is audio rather than video, I guess we'll let you hear a little bit of the music. As we say in Hebrew, wah wah wee wah.
I think that's Kazakh.
Well, pseudo.
Should we talk about the acrobatics instead?
Yes.
What was your favourite part?
Just being in awe at the ability of the human body and the blessing that we have, that we can do something as incredible as what we've just seen, and that all of us pretty much could achieve this through decades of dedication, of investment in time, of hard work and pride in what we do.
Sadly, we would probably have to turn the clock back a little bit to get to the shape, the size, the agility, the skill that those acrobats had.
Phenomenal. From the guy who climbed, I have no idea how high he was.
He was on at least 8 chairs.
From him to the bicycles, I don't care so much about the props, it's just the ability, the strength, the balance of human beings.
For me, there was one act, and it was quite simple. There were only 3 people. There was one woman with 2 women balanced on her feet, and 4 soup bowls each balanced on their head, and just the poise and the strength of one person to carry the others was amazing.
And there was the equivalent of, I guess, Geppetto's workshop, where the man in the corner made the toys and then the toys came to life, which was a tightrope act.
And the colour and the sound, it was absolutely fabulous.
Mark, you might not be, but I am sweating away and it's only 8 o'clock.
Yes, I have a nice shirt on for what will be our last day in Beijing, and it's already drenched.
I said to you, wear something scruffy.
Yes, but then we have to go to some other more formal places along the way and some royal palaces. We've got it all to do today before we get on that plane home.
What better way to start the day than with some prayer on behalf of the entire Chinese nation?
We have come to the Temple of Heaven. A 270 hectare is like 3 million square meters, or near the equivalent of. It's immense. It's full of temples and prayer sites and parks used by the emperors back in the 15th century.
The centrepiece climbs 38 metres, which is about 150 foot off the top of my head, and is stunning. It's round. It has 3 tiers, like a wedding cake. At the top, it is cupped by a golden knob.
Oh, sorry, I thought you were talking to me there. It's called the Temple of Prayer for Good Harvest. A lot of the temples here have very interesting names that actually spell out exactly what they're for. The emperor would come here, he'd be bought from his palace, and he would sacrifice animals and agricultural goods in the hope of a good harvest.
This area lies about 1.5 miles from the Forbidden City, which we'll be headed to a little bit later, which is where the emperor lived, or the emperors even. And the reason that it's called the Forbidden City is that they didn't get out very much and people didn't get in very much. But the one place that the emperors did visit was this site where we are now, which in 2024 is surrounded by a gorgeous park. Many tourists here, of course, you can probably hear them milling around in the background, but there's also, because of the immense size of this area, plenty of room for local people to do their morning exercise.
You will see when you come here, and this will become a feature throughout a lot of the sites we see today, a raised path, a straight path that leads around 7.5 kilometers at one end, I believe, from the Temple of Heaven, at the other end, the Olympic Stadium. It was set up by a doctor in feng shui meaning wind and earth, and this raised path is a World Heritage Site that leads through here, through Tiananmen Square, through the Forbidden City. It will play a key feature in what we see today. The chairs here are quite funky. They're tartan, and embroidered on the back are some pictures of foxes with monocles.
We've opened a fine rosé from the Peking Duck region of southeastern France.
To stand in front of the Birth of Venus by Botticelli and just take it in.
Turning their backs on these magnificent architectural wonders, and all they want to do is have that Instagram moment.
I listened to the guide for 2 minutes while I was on Wikipedia.
You're listening to the Jerusalem Post podcast travel edition with Mark Gordon and David Harris.
Hello, David.
Good morning, Mark.
It's hot.
It's very, very hot. You reckon it's not as sticky as Shanghai?
Yeah, I said that 15 minutes ago. Now I'm stood in a queue. It's sticky.
We have taken a bus with a guide to avoid a queue.
To avoid a longer queue. This is a shorter queue.
And we're going to see some of the most famous sites in Beijing today.
As long as we can still see the Russian bear on a stick at the front of our group, we know we're with the group. But yes, we're hiding at the back of the group at the moment.
Do you have any idea what we're doing now, apart from being in a sea of people in a very long line?
This is the group's queue, supposedly, to get into Tiananmen Square and then from here to the Forbidden Planet.
Stop it. Disrespect. The Forbidden City, of course, which we'll fill you in on a little bit later. Anyway, we just wanted to know that we're suffering on your behalf. The couple in front of us have a regular fan and an electric fan, and if you stand in exactly the right place, you can benefit from it as well.
I find it's more wafting the sweat in our direction.
What a delight to travel with Mark.
Ni hao.
Ni hao.
Anyhow.
Yes, that was my line on the video.
I know, I stole it.
You can check the videos out on YouTube at Mark David Pod.
We are on the central Feng Shui line in Tiananmen Square.
If I was Mark, I'd say we're a metre off it.
Yeah, but I'm slightly cross-eyed and cack-handed.
You don't know how to deal with it when I play you, do you?
No, I can give it out, I can't take it back.
Welcome to Tiananmen Square. It is the largest civic city square in the world. It was Chairman Mao's take on what had been done in Red Square in Moscow, according to our tour guide.
It is surrounded on four sides by very prominent buildings. Behind me, we have the People's Parliament, or National People's Assembly Forum and Banqueting Hall, number one. Opposite me is the National Museum of China, which is the museum to go to in China. To my right is a monument to the fallen soldiers in China through the wars, through the Sino-Japanese Wars, World War I, World War II, the Opium Wars, the Civil War. And to my right, beyond that, is Chairman Mao's mausoleum. And then over my left is a picture of Chairman Mao and the gate to the Forbidden City.
We'll deal with the Forbidden City a little bit later. We're being interrupted by somebody speaking Chinese. 1 second. Yes?
可以和我拍一张 photo 照片
You want us to take a picture?
Yes.
Oh, with us?
想跟你拍
Yes, of course. You want to take with us? Yes, of course. Of course. So, what's happening right now is... You come in the middle? So we are currently... You're very welcome. Thank you. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. 谢谢. Hello. Yes, of course. So what is happening right now is we're being photographed with different groups of people just because we are holding Chinese flags now that we've been given.
I thought it was because our podcast is very big in China.
Apparently there's a police officer walking towards us. Hopefully he doesn't think we're doing anything too naughty.
I think we might be in trouble.
I don't know. Hello.
Hi.
Okay. Yes. Good. It's good.
Good.
Yes. We are still posing for photographs.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. Shalom. Well, that was interesting. We are bang in the middle of this square, and because we look different...
And now have Chinese flags and a policeman wandering up and down beyond us.
But what you've got to understand is, normally it would be understandable because we usually hold very prominent microphones, but because we are aware of sensitivities in this part of the world, we decided to record this part of the podcast on our telephone. And it might be that the telephone...
Do you want them to take photos?
Yes, it's fine. It's fine. Thank you. It's very nice. It's lovely. Thank you. That's very sweet of you. So the policeman just asked us if it was okay if we agreed to having our photographs taken. So we're recording on a telephone, and even though there's no obvious sign out there that we're famous superstars of international media, people still wanted to be photographed us, I guess because we're Western.
There's a good chance that with our global audience, the 1.4 billion people in China, someone might be listening to our podcast. So we'll just soak up the celebrity.
Thankfully, they've never seen our faces before.
Top 10 tips for China. Visitors to China will need a visa to enter. This can be obtained from a Chinese embassy. Many websites such as Facebook, Google and Instagram are blocked in China. They may be accessed using your overseas SIM card and a roaming data package. English is not as widely used as in other tourist destinations. A translation app will be a great help. Watch out for Chinese holidays. This can lead to very long queues at attractions. Drinking tap water isn't recommended in China. Bottled water is readily available and is usually very cheap. It is not customary to tip, and tips are likely to be refused. At markets and souvenir shops, always bargain to get the best price. Many Chinese people are not used to seeing foreigners. Do not be surprised if people ask for photos with you. Take a business card from your hotel. If you get lost, you can show it to a taxi driver. Don't be surprised to find that public restrooms are mostly squat toilets. Take a toilet roll with you.
After what seems like an eternity, we have entered the meeting square of the Forbidden City.
It is an enormous square and, surprisingly enough, filled with people. Nearly everybody carrying an umbrella, beautiful colours to protect the people from the sun. Colour is also, of course, very important here in China. Were you listening as he was going through all the different colours?
I wasn't listening to the colours, I was listening more to the construction side of it.
So go for construction.
A few very important features of this square. Firstly, you'll see no trees. And there are no trees because they believe that people that were going to come in and try and kill the emperor could hide behind the trees, so they didn't build any trees. Secondly, you'll see the floor has layers, about 15 layers of bricks and concrete. Again, that was to stop people burrowing underneath and getting in. The buildings are wood without metal, partly because of feng shui, that you don't mix wood and metal, but also with the wood you can carve it into little pieces that join together, kind of like Lego, and it means when you have earthquakes, the buildings still stand. However, when you have a fire, the buildings made of wood are more vulnerable, and therefore there is a canal going through the middle of the square.
Let's wait for this lady to speak. According to our guide, the woman is announcing missing children in this sea of humanity. Anyway, you were saying?
Because the buildings were built of wood, there is what looks like a canal going through the middle of it, and that's the water they use in case of fire. They can put out the fire on the wood and preserve the buildings.
Genius. So the colours, a golden yellow dominates here, which is the royal colour, only used on royal buildings. The red symbolises happiness and the blues the sky. But we're talking about this expression of feng shui. This palace was constructed from 1406 to 1420. It was only created by the third emperor of the Ming dynasty. The first emperor had created his headquarters, his capital, in Nanjing, which is not far away from today's Shanghai. But it was felt that because of feng shui, because of bad vibes, that it wasn't the best place, and so the decision was made to move here to Beijing.
On top of the feng shui, you also have yin and yang, another form of balance, and what seem like jade lions at the front of the palace. One is male and one is female, again to bring that balance. There are golden roofs everywhere, but on the political buildings there are two roofs. Is that because politicians are two-faced?
To talk the latest news in Israel, the Jewish world, and everything in between.
This is the J-Post Podcast. I'm Tamar Uriel-Biri, Deputy Editor-in-Chief of the Jerusalem Post.
And I'm Tzvika Klein, Editor-in-Chief of the Jerusalem Post.
And I'm Sarah Ben-Nun, Night Editor at the Jerusalem Post. Join us as we bring some of the most impactful voices to bring you into what it means to be Jewish, to be Israeli today.
Every week, we bring you with us into the newsroom in every sense.
Stop being so dramatic. This is just our coffee break.
You can find us every Thursday on jpost.com, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
We'll see you there.
Yalla, bye.
We've really enjoyed our time in China, but this was one of the highlights which we finally managed to squeeze in. We're going to the Forbidden City.
You wanted to call it Forbidden Planet.
I've called it Palace. I'm forbidden from getting the name right.
Basically, any B movie that's ever been with the word forbidden in, he's mentioned.
We're back in the hotel. We have our microphones. You'll probably notice that we sound a little bit more professional than...
I'm collapsing here, and he wants to sound professional. We should be mentioning it's the New World Beijing Hotel, which is very large.
I did 1,000 steps this morning.
You actually
just
did?
Walking up and down the room, trying to remember where I put my passport, where my clothes were. It's not even a suite. It's a single long hotel room.
You could play cricket in here.
Yeah, you've got room for the boundary. It's not just the wicket.
It's quite something.
For our American listeners, that's baseball with bits of wood in the floor. David is suffering from sunstroke, and we're not even done today.
Something that we have noticed, and I don't know if we've talked about, I think we may have done in one of the podcasts, is the, I want to say protuberance or profundurance, but I can't remember the word, not profundurance.
Gorgosity.
The lots of. Propensity, no, not propensity.
We've been in the sun so long we can't even remember words.
Profusion? Profusion. The profusion of American brands. One in particular, Starbucks.
As opposed to Tim Horton and Pete's Coffee and everything else we've seen.
It's amazing. It's incredible. But like on every street corner, there's a brand that you would recognise. So what did you think of the Forbidden City?
Having done the Taj Mahal a couple of years ago, the Forbidden City, I think, involved more effort. It was hot like it was in India, but you need to put aside 4 hours for a proper walk around with a guide.
Why are you comparing it? You just want to name drop the Taj Mahal?
No, I think these are like iconic buildings that you see as, you know, the 20 places to visit before I die. I think with the last half hour today, I thought this was going to be the last place I visited before I die. If you come in the summer, it is very hot. Bring water. There's water to buy along the way. Make sure you've got a way to pay for water. Make sure that you don't come in clothes that you want to wear for the rest of the day. It is hot and it is very sweaty, but it's just phenomenal. It's 750,000 square meters. David can do the conversion into square feet.
No way.
It's big. It's the largest palace in the world. There are 999 rooms in that palace.
You're not going to see the rooms because these are old buildings. What you're doing is wandering through the various pathways and squares between them, and at the end you see the gardens as well. But you just see that incredible roofing that is so synonymous with this part of the world.
I think we managed one throne room and a walk through a corridor where you could see into 2 bedrooms of the 999. I have to be honest, the last 45 minutes of the tour was just about the emperors, concubines, eunuchs and how they avoid being poisoned. It kind of repeated itself, but I think to some extent that may well have been life, because the emperor was just working his way through many concubines.
He wasn't allowed out of the palace or the city. One of the reasons it's called the Forbidden City. I want to pay particular tribute to our guide. We got to him through getyourguide.com.
You get to him through Viator as well.
And his name is Anson. So if you're looking for recommended guides, ANSON, he was terrific. He cared for us. He cared about the people around. His knowledge was excellent. He answered every question fully. He was really good and with very good English.
Traditionally in China, you don't tip. And Anson never looked round for a tip. He went on for an extra half an hour to make up for the queues. A really dedicated guy. What people want here is good reviews, and we were very happy to say Anson was an excellent guide. It is the way to do the Forbidden City. It is vast. A lot of it looks a little bit similar, so you need to know what each palace was and the story behind it.
Don't just look at the buildings in their entirety, look up at individual sculptures and pieces, the different types of knockers on the doors. Just tremendous place to visit.
If after 4 hours of Tiananmen Square and the Forbidden City you have any energy left, as you come out of the Imperial Garden at the end and cross the road, there is the Jiangshan Gardens, I think it is, or Jiangshan Park.
I'm very impressed that you remember.
There is a
hill
and another small palace at the top, or a small lookout point. Looks stunning. I have to admit, we didn't have the energy to do it.
Supposedly, the views from there are out of this world in every direction, but of course, particularly towards the Forbidden City, where you get that aerial view. And if you've got a good camera, you're going to get some terrific pictures from up there.
I'm going for a bath now. I'm going to sit and relax my muscles, and then I think we're going to go on one last trip out.
TMI.
This is Mark Gordon from the Jerusalem Post Podcast Travel Edition. Find us on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter at MarkDavidPod, or mail us at markdavidpod@gmail.com. You know when we go out to a nice restaurant and you turn around to me and you go, "Oh, David."
Yes.
Or you actually go, "Oh, Mark," because I'm Mark and you're David.
But yes.
It's kind of more, "Oh, David." Where have you brought us?
I have only been once previously to Eastern Asia, and there it was very much wining and dining in 5-star restaurants, hotels and so on. And one of the things that I've always wanted to do is to try real street food, or at least to see real street food in the Far East. You know the type of things that I mean: insects, animals that perhaps in the West we keep in our house as pets, that type of thing. I should stress I'm a vegetarian, but I just want to see it.
You do realise, David, we are in Beijing and not in the back of Beyond, and people here have very cultured palates. We're staying in a 5-star hotel. I had sashimi for my dinner.
So about 200 yards from where we are is one of, if not the main shopping streets of Beijing. You've got all of the top makes that you are familiar with in the West, plus some from this part of the world as well.
And there were some nice restaurants too, but you didn't bother to take us to the nice restaurant, did you, David?
I don't know if you found it or I found it, but there was something called a snacks market, and we went there to find it had closed down in February.
And part of it has either relocated or was here as well, but this is now sort of the main snack market off Wang Fujing Street, which is the main shopping street.
We've been wandering around. It's not too big. There's a stall just behind us selling really weird stuff on sticks.
Yes, and when I put my Google Translate camera over it, it said things like squid and octopus and internet celebrity. Which worries me more than the insects and the ants, to be honest.
And on the other side, they clearly hadn't even bothered with Google Translate, but you can buy doornail meat pie.
So we found a vegetarian type stall, and you saw a bit of fruit on there, and you thought, I fancy a bit of that, Mark.
Mark's got a Google page open.
It's called durian. What do you know about durian, David?
I've always wanted to try durian, actually, just to see. I don't know if it's native to China, but it's certainly native to southeastern and eastern Asia. It is a large fruit. On the outside, looks much like a jackfruit, and I think you could compare it in some ways to Marmite. Some people actually really like it, but most people think it's absolutely disgusting.
Let me read the definition of the taste and smell of durian fruit. A combination of sulfur, sewage, fruit, honey, and roasted and rotted onions. A study on the aromatic compounds in durian found 44 active compounds, including some that contribute to scents of skunk, caramel, rotten egg, fruit, and soup seasoning.
So let's hope I get the caramel flavours, because right in front of me is something very interesting. I was looking forward to getting durian as in a piece of fruit, but no. This is, as we say, it's kind of a vegetarian place, and it's got different takes on durian.
Yes, I think you're on the beginner's durian pack, which is baked durian with cheese. I apologise, listeners, if you hear the following noise in about 30 seconds, you know it didn't go well. That noise would be...
Well, we have 2 forks here, or sport.
I'll let you go first.
This is cooked. So imagine, if you're Jewish, you'll be familiar with things like apple kugel, apple pudding. That's what it looks like, only with a rather greasy, cheesy layer on the top. So here goes. Okay, it's not vile, but I wouldn't want to necessarily have it every Friday night with my Shabbat dinner. Are you going to go for it?
I am. Let me unwrap my fork. We have taken the cheetah's way out, and we have an orange drink, and I have sugarcane juice. So if it is really awful, we can wash it down very quickly. I'm just going to put my microphone down while I unwrap my fork, and I'll be with you in a second.
So here we are, ladies and gentlemen, in this night snack market. Mark tears the spork with his teeth. He dips in the cheese. He's taken an unfair amount of cheese on his spoon there, and he's rolling and it's fallen off his spoon, and he's rolling the cheese around his fingers and back onto the spork.
That's not that bad at all. It smells a bit like mango.
Hang on a minute, let me stick my nose into the whole thing. The way it's been served is in a tiny silver foil rectangular dish. No, it doesn't smell. Does it smell like mango? I don't know.
Do you know what I just did there? And I thought it doesn't smell bad at all.
Yeah.
I smelt the microphone.
You normally do that after a lot of wine.
I don't think I can delay this any longer.
Okay, go for it. He's chewing it long and hard rather than going for the quick swallow. It's a little bitter.
As David said, I did get some cheese there, and the cheese is probably the least digestible part of it. I'm still chewing the cheese. The durian's long gone.
What do you think?
I quite like that. That's really odd.
You see, I told you, it's a Marmite thing. You either like it or you don't.
I'm getting the sweet, which is good. Maybe I've been doing so much walking, I'm so dehydrated that the salt content in it and anything else is not too bad.
No sewage?
No sewage at all. It is a little off, like you say, and I think the small quantities we have will be more than enough.
Yeah. Do you think, the person that wrote that article in Google has actually tasted sewage before because they know what sewage tastes like?
That was in the closed down snack market next to your insects.
Anyway, this is a wonderful, wonderful way to end our trip to Beijing and indeed to China. From here, we are off to the airport. We fly back to Shenzhen, and from there with Hainan Airlines to Tel Aviv.
Very sad.
Yeah, me too.
Because it's 2 a.m.
It is. We are back in Shenzhen, which is where we started our trip, but we're not seeing the city this time. We've just flown in from Beijing, having completed an amazing trip to China's capital.
We would have finished our podcast in Beijing, because this is our Beijing podcast, but dinner was lovely, so we overran a bit, and then got to the airport, and then got on the plane. And anyway, we're back in Shenzhen saying goodbye from Beijing.
And then flying out with Hainan back to Tel Aviv. The flight back is about 11, 12 hours, so we're looking forward to a snooze.
Or lots of films.
Summary.
Over the 3 cities that we've been to...
I was absolutely sure when I said summary you were going to say it's boiling hot, isn't it?
But I think I've said that enough. And while we're sitting in a lovely air-conditioned Starbucks in the airport, I'm not going to complain about the weather.
3 cities.
3 cities. If I had to pick a favourite, and I shouldn't, it was probably Shanghai. It just felt more European and therefore familiar. I think it had the nicest architecture.
For me, as you know, it's the people that make this. And one example was from this morning, which seems like days ago, when we were in a park near the temple, and it was a long walk. It was boiling hot, but under the trees in the shade were many older people who were carrying out, performing Tai Chi. There was another group of people who were clapping their hands and dancing, and just to see people enjoying life without telephones, without gadgets, and just being at one with nature and with their friends, that was very special for me.
I think in all of the cities, the chance to get out and not do organised tourism, to just go out for the evening, find somewhere to eat, find somewhere to shop, has been eye-opening. I came here with an idea of what China was like. It's certainly a lot more advanced. I probably have it in my timeline somewhere around 20 years ago from what I saw on television during the Olympics. I was expecting Beijing to be smoggy, and in the end the air was beautifully crisp in the middle of July. Walking down the main shopping street, it was huge. It's a lot more westernized than I expected it to be. You go through Israel and there are a lack of Western brands. Everything is very much homegrown. You go through China, every coffee shop comes from every part of the world. You can buy nearly everything here.
You touched on one thing which really did surprise me, because I know that China publicly repeats its commitment to reducing greenhouse gases and 2050 and so on and so forth. But in almost every meeting that we've been in, people have talked about the environment. We've visited places where they are trying to improve the environment because of the bitter experience that this country has had in recent years. And we've seen a lot of it in practice, whether it's the electric cars or a fully electric public transport system in Shenzhen, the generation of electricity from waste, etc., etc. And hopefully that is the start, and maybe something that other countries who are slower to adopt some of these greener, more environmental technologies should be looking at and copying and learning from China.
Indeed. I think when we were driving through the streets of each city, there is a vehicle registration scheme. And if you have an electric or an environmentally friendly car, you have a green number plate. Through Shanghai and Shenzhen, I would say the majority of the cars had green number plates. All the public transport had green number plates. The only city that didn't was Beijing. I think that has a little bit further to go, mainly because I think there's less manufacturing around Beijing and people are less tied to the brands that are there. Also, even down to the hotel. The hotel we were in Beijing, the water came in recyclable cardboard boxes. It didn't come in bottles. Every hotel had recycling bins in the hotel room. Everything we talk about doing in the West, we saw here. And I don't think that was deliberately put in front of us, because I'd say the hotel we went to in Shanghai wasn't that sort of hotel where they're trying to be trendy and follow Western fashion.
Okay, time for some thank yous.
Thank you, David, for holding the microphone.
You do that every podcast now.
Okay.
So, first of all, to what's the name of the friendship organisation? Your chance once more to say it.
Thank you to the Chinese People's Association for Friendship with Foreign Countries. And we've been to meet people in each of the three cities. It is a big thing for China to try and twin up their cities with cities across the world. I think, was it Israel had 27 twin cities with China?
Was it 27 or 17? One or the other?
I think it was 27.
It was an impressive number. And of course, our thanks to Mr. Wong Kai, who was with us the whole trip, who organised much of this. When you see him and you meet him, he's just warmth and a smile. And he's been doing this friendship work for many years because he loves his country and he loves people from around the world and believes that there's more that unites us than divides.
And a thank you to the Chinese embassy in Israel, particularly to Ambassador Tsai Run, who is leaving and returning to China, we think, and to Mei Li Chu, who has been our constant guide and translator throughout, and making sure that we get back to bed on time and behave ourselves.
And even saved me in this airport when I was marched off because of an extra large power pack.
Yes, it's slightly beyond the regulations, David. Bear that one in mind for the future.
In so many ways, I'm beyond the regulations. Time for us to ask you to do something. Just choose one of these things. It would make us very happy. So you could write a review wherever you're listening to this podcast.
You could give us 5 stars on your podcast provider.
You could like or follow, share
our social media at MarkDavidPod, or you could write to us at markdavidpod@gmail.com. David, quiz question.
Oh, okay. The question way back, if I remember rightly, was something on the lines of Beijing is a very old city heading towards the 3,000-year mark. But when did Beijing become the capital of the People's Republic of China?
Is it a trick question?
Yes, you know the answer.
Is it 1949?
It most certainly is. The reason, of course, being that the People's Republic of China only came into being in
1949.
Correct.
So before that, was it the capital of previous iterations of China?
It was at various points, but so was Nanjing. That's it. We've talked enough. I think we've scared away some of our friends who've been sitting listening to us.
I think all of them, to be precise.
We don't have any friends left. That's it.
What's Chinese for goodbye? We've just said hello a lot. Should we work on the basis it's the same as Israel and you say shalom, valo and goodbye?
Ni hao.
Ni hao.
Ni hao. Let's go and get our plane.